Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to talk about are the watches of Jean-François Mojon. A few weeks ago, I did a video on these top 5 watchmakers from 2012 to 2022, and they included Mojon. They were Jean-Marc Viderec, Philippe Dufour, Carol Forestier Casapi, and Giulio Papi. And so what I thought I'd do today is to look at another one of these watchmakers and say, hey, we can find an affordable watch for us out there somewhere. Now, what I'm going to concentrate on is a company called Cyrus. And Jean-François Mojon, more recently, has been making or helping them make different kinds of movements in their watches. And some of these are fairly reasonable. Other ones are expensive, really expensive. So let's take a look at these watches. And the first one is they have a whole line of watches called Klepsis. And the first one is this Klepsis Chronograph Steel. Up at the top, there's a chronograph minutes. Down at the bottom, there's chronograph hours. I like that. I mean, it makes it's you're dealing with something that is very, very clear. At least to me, it is. And they have one of the characteristics that you're going to see on all of these watches are these double crowns with double mono pushers. They're used for different things, and they're on all the watches. And so instead of seeing a lot of pushers and pullers and pokers you just see these two crowns with the pushers in them. This chronograph, this is your basic chronograph watch. You have a little sort of a comma-shaped red thing as a power reserve indicator just off of 9 o'clock. The calendar, you can see the calendar, that's also right off of 9 o'clock. And the center seconds are on the sweep hand. The chronograph seconds are, and it's sort of interesting too. And you stop and think about it. Is I don't know how many people just take a look at their watch and say, okay, I'm looking at the second hand, some little subdial as it is on my watch, or a big sweep hand. But the thing is that when you really need it, at least as far as I'm concerned, is when you're timing something with your chronograph. But like I said, that's me. I'm not a chronograph fan by any stretch of the imagination. One of the things you're going to see here are all unique design movements. You're not going to see this has got a base of a, Solita or something like that. These are all down to the ground, solid movements. This one is CYR 314. It's 4 hertz, 28,800 VPH. I'm not a big fan of 4 hertz, but that's me again. I like the slower ones down around 3 and 2.5 hertz. But for a chronograph, 4 hertz is probably not a bad choice. Probably an excellent one. Okay, 12,700 Swiss francs. This does not count the VAT anywhere. All right, this next one, you sort of go to the other end. This watch is called the Klepsis Mars Red Titanium. And it's sort of like a moon phase. This is a Mars phase. And it's got this little sphere of Mars. And it rotates and you can see different features on Mars. It's got retrograde hours. It's got a date retrograde up around between 12 and just beyond 3 o'clock. And then in the center, it's got the minutes and the seconds. This watch is just wild. I mean, the thing about this thing, I really need a watch with Mars. I don't need one. I don't need half the watches I have. But boy, what a watch! It just sort of be a lot of fun to have a watch like that. 105,000 Swiss francs, almost 106. Probably not going to happen, but that's okay. It's a wonderful looking watch. Now here, on the other hand, this is the Klepsis Tempo caliber CYR 1015, automatic, hour, minute, second. This is your real basic watch. They refer to these two crowns as two innovative antagonistic crowns. I don't know why they're antagonistic. They simply probably mean they're just at opposite sides of one at 3 and one at 9 o'clock. Now here's your basic watch, and to me it looks like a basic sports watch, time only, with the second counter along with the 5-minute indexes on it. Simple, clean. 7,900. Now it's roughly a little over $8,000, like $8,100 or something like that. And that's something that comes within at least my budget, what I call hand grenade range. It spreads out, may hit one somewhere. But this is one that, and again, to have a watch, any watch by a top watchmaker, you know, to me that counts for a lot, rather than one that's, you know, knocked off or sort of ground up from something lesser. Now, one of the things with a top watchmaker is you can have these things you just don't see. Now, this one is Klepsis vertical tourbillon. And you say, well, what would you need a tourbillon for that's vertical? In my opinion, well, you need one for anyway. But again, like I said, that's just me. But let me read what it has about it, what Mojon said, and it makes sense. It says, the project took shape from the observation that the wristwatch is rather placed, for the most part, in a horizontal position. And like, you know, this is a typical way it's laying flat. And the tourbillon mechanism produces its effect by compensating gravity when it's in a vertical position. Okay, that was what Jean-François Mojon said. And to me, it said, yeah, that makes sense. But, you know, in order to have anything like that, you need a good deal thicker watch. But, you know, if it works, if it's some kind of mechanical working version of something, I think it's really worth it. You can see it down in the lower right-hand corner, how it sticks up. Now, there's one other watch that I've seen with this. There may be more, but the only other watch I've seen with a vertical tourbillon is one by F.P. Journe. And I guess it's probably for the same reason. And I don't know. I mean, most of the time, when they compare just a tourbillon with a non-tourbillon, given the movement of a typical movement of a watch and a typical tourbillon, they don't seem to have the desired effect. They work great on, I think, pocket watches and perhaps on clocks. But with a vertical one, that's very interesting. It's 189,000 Swiss francs. You know, that's close to $200,000. Okay, but the good thing is hand wound and it's 3 hertz, 21,600 VPH. But man, what a cool watch. Now this next one is a really interesting one. This is one of their newer ones called the Klepsis Dice, and the dice stands for Double Independent Chronograph Evolution. Now, to me, you know, what is it? It is sort of like a rattrapant, and it is in certain ways, but let me again read something that Mojon has. Says, in many sports, it's often important to measure the elapsed time with 2 different starting times. With the Olympics just around the corner, yeah, I can see that. And he gives an example. He said in Formula One racing, where 2 drivers during the race test do not start at the same time. So they start one, and he does it with those opposed antagonistic crown, those pushers. You start one by pushing the one at 3 o'clock, because it has a little red band, and you can see the red hands that are timing it, and then at 9 o'clock you can pop the blue one. So one car starts, and then boom, wait until the next one starts, and timing. You know, it's really very interesting. I had a little more of a close-up down there at down in the lower corner. You can see the red and the blue hands representing these 2 different timing, which I think is a good idea. And then the caliber, again, see, these are all original calibers, CYR 718. Really great, 33,500 Swiss francs. Again, this is hefty, but it's not You know, nothing like the Mars. But really very, very interesting watch. I mean, compared to your typical kind of chronograph. Now, this next one is one I just like. I mean, it's a hand wound, which I like, and 3 hertz. But the thing about it, one of the things I like the best about it is over at just off of 3 o'clock, you can see these 3 cylinders. And these 3 cylinders, this is their power reserve indicator. And I think it's got like 168 hours, I think 5 days or something, I'm not sure. But when you look at that, it's you have a couple things there that is that you have a shape movement. I mean, it's not like, oh, we had to take some iboche and make it in and put it, get some kind of square plate for it and put it in there. This one, it's just like, yeah, you make it for whatever you need. Again, it's got the double crowns, and in the lower right there, you can see the complexity of the case. I mean, it's almost as complex as a lot of movements I've seen. Caliber 77.78, hand wound, like I said, 3 hertz, 29,900. Again, this is just a cool watch, I think. Okay, now let's clap the GMT Retrograde. It took me a while to figure this out. You got to look at it carefully. In the middle, I see you have this little blue ring, and it's got 24 at either end of it, and that's because it's a retrograde. And so you have your wait time. If you set it at 1, that's the little dot after the 24 on the left side. If you set it at 8 o'clock, it's at 8 p.m. It's the 20 on the right side, and it's a true GMT in that, depending whether you're to the east or west of the prime meridian, which goes right through Greenwich, England, you'll be on the left or the right side of the dial. For example, New York is 5 hours behind GMT, and Paris and Geneva are 1 hour on plus GMT. St. Petersburg and some of the Scandinavian states, they pump up an hour ahead too. And then you hit the international date line. Well, anyway, this can work it out with this retrograde. The seconds are down at the bottom there, small seconds. Really amazing watch. $19,300. Now, or 300 Swiss francs. Now, here's the thing. There's another company that Mojon started. It's a movement company called Chronode. And I was looking at this, and he's got this one movement that he's got called the C102. He's got a whole bunch of other ones. If you go to the Chronode website, you can find out about it. And the C102, it says it's 5-year warranty and available from 10 pieces. Well, you get 10 guys together and you can say, hey, let's make a watch with a Mojon movement in it. The movement would be $12.75. You got 1,000 guys together and they're only $8.40. Trust me, 10 is much, much better. And so what I thought, this would be sort of a fun project. Not for me, but for you. The reason for me, I'm involved in a project already. But this one would be for under $2,000 to get a watch with a movement from Mojon. And it'd be a matter of finding the right case for it, the right dial and hands. The hands and dial aren't too hard. The right case can be, though. This would be a very cool project. Now, I don't know if this would be something if you're interested in, to see a video on how to have one of the top watchmaker movements, or a movement from one of the top watchmakers for under $2,000. But it sounds like a fun project. And like I said, this is not something I'd be involved in, not because I don't think it'd be fun, but rather I'm up to my ears in another one with the same idea, with working with top watchmakers. Let me know what you think of Jean-François Mojon's movements and watches. and also the idea about, let's see what we could do with that. Take care, be safe. It's almost over. The light's at the end of the tunnel. And this is an invitation to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the Art and Science of Watch Collection.